da 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 da. La 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 la. Hello, Mary Boehme from the Bliss of Art, Mexican Mary Boehme, and thank you so much for joining me. Today we are painting torts, and if you saw my live stream earlier, you'll understand that a tort is not a turtle, but a tortilla. And they're round, they're like a head. And I compare torts to like a head, like a plainer head. And if you remember, many sessions ago, because folks, I am going on 50 live streaming videos brought to you free of charge. Not one penny are you paying for this. But believe me, I'm paying dearly. Ah! See, no hair. No, just kidding. Anyways, it is similar to a planer head. And the planer head has many contours in it, as well as circles and planes and all those good things. This picture is for sale on my website, mary2arch.com. So make sure you visit my website, and I'll have it up in a minute at the bottom of the screen. So how do I compare a tortilla, which is round, to a head, which is round? Well, if you took out a tortilla, and I just happen to have one right here that I made just for you to show you how a tortilla is like a head. Now this is a kneaded tortilla. It's not the flat rolled out one with the rolling pin. And I said, when you're done rolling the pin, conk yourself in the head if you don't have any sense, because then you'll get lots and lots of sense. All right, no, don't conk yourself in the head. So after I've kneaded my tortillas, and I do need these to eat, you'll see that it pops out. And it's round, and it has all these contours in it, contours and planes, just like a head does. If I popped in a little nose like that, guess what? That part would be nice and light. The light would be shining and hitting it full blast. And then if I pushed it in and had an indentation, then that becomes dark, just like under the chin. The nose is blocking this area here from getting light, so it will be darker around this part of the face, and then because your nose is sticking out and your chin is sticking out, this is lighter. So if this tortilla had a chin on it, this would be lighter, and then underneath the chin, the neck would be nice and dark. So tortillas and planer heads have a lot in common, believe it or not. So think about that while you're painting. Think of all those little good tips. And I say get lots and lots of props, I call them. My rolling pin, I took that out. I got plenty of pictures. I have torts hanging on my wall right here, which you can't see, sorry. And then I did a sketch of torts. And when I was sketching, and this sketch is unfinished, and it will be for sale as well, of the tortillas, and you'll see this is a big sketch. And I wanted to make sure I had all the details in there. And I have a lot of the shadows and many of the highlights, which are so vitally important in your artwork because it will look so flat without them. And then I also keep a book on ideas and starters, and then I have plenty of things in here. And you can see a class that I taught earlier this week on Tuesday about how the ideas started rolling in, and how I took all those ideas and I funneled them into what I am doing today, painting torts. So let's get started. But before we do that, let me have a little drink of coffee. Salute. And reach down here out of your sight and get my palette. Now the colors that I use are titanium white, burnt sienna, cad yellow, cad red, a tiny bit of black, and that black I didn't mix myself, and also a magenta color up here. And you always want the primary colors on your, looks like I got a few drips in there. You always want them on your palette, just so you don't have to go searching for things. You have it right there when you're most creative in your artwork. The first thing I want to do on the canvas, which is, I believe it's 11 by 14, just like a picture. And the canvas is handmade by my handy husband, Gary. Beautiful canvas. And this is linen, friends. Linen is some of the best material you can buy to paint on canvases. And so he created this nice little tab, and the tab is for when the paint is wet and I don't want to touch the sides, and I just hang it right on the wall. He's so talented, not in art as much as he is in woodworking. Okay, so I'm going to put this, actually I'm not going to put that on there because I want to begin by doing the entire, you can see that I've already put a coat of gesso on the back. You can see the gesso right here. That's been gessoed. And then I did a underpainting, and I did acrylics over the top. And the acrylics dry really fast, so if you're doing an underpainting, try to use acrylics. And so I can't ever get these things straight on my camera, but hopefully it's straight enough. You'll see the picture when it's finished. It will be on my website, mary2art.com. And let me get that up here right now for you, because I want you to be able to go to my website, and I want you to download this image that I'm painting from. Whoops, that's the wrong one. All right. Okay, I think that's good. Yes, there we go. So I want to start in prepping my brush, and I've got a little bit of oil on here, so I'm just going to take it and put this big old fat brush in the oil. And then I want a gray. This time I'm going to go with a gray, and it's very similar to the color that's over there. And I'm not going to be able to do the entire background in this color during the show because it will take too long. So I'm just going to do the important parts, the parts that I want close to the rolling pin. These are oils I'm using, so they go on as smooth as butter. And I always say underpainting, when you're doing underpainting, the next coat, the acrylics go on and then the oils go on top, and they should blend in just like butter. Butter on bread. You shouldn't see any difference in your underpainting and your oils, other than maybe the colors are changed, but the tones are the same. So that's what I'm saying. And if you've been watching my program, which I've had over 50, and I'm celebrating no margaritas today, sorry. Maybe you can have some margaritas. I'm going to come back here so I can grab some more of this paint while I'm talking. So yes, 50 teaching videos, free teaching videos. And you can go into my website, and there are many of the videos attached to the products that I have for sale, and buy them because they're marvelous, if I have to say so myself. Master artist, Mary Boehme, because guess what? I was on Channel 5 News earlier this week, so you know if you're on the news, you have to be a master artist. I'm going to take my hat off because it gets a little hot in my studio, and hopefully my hair is not a disaster. Woo! Okay, go back to work. And here I go. So putting this over, oils over the acrylics, and getting really close. Not covering everything, going around the sides because this will be a gallery style painting. And you'll be able to see parts of the tortillas coming around the edges, and then also the rolling pin will go completely around as well. This paint goes on very, very smoothly, and I have thinned it out with oil, a Bob Ross oil that I have just for thinning, because when I'm in my studio, I dislike using thinner unless I absolutely have to, because it gets a little suffocating in here, and I don't want to faint while I'm talking with my friends. Okay, so the paint is going on. The oils, pardon me. The oils are going on very, very smoothly, going along the rolling pin. And that will be going all the way down here, and it'll be going along the rolling pin, and it's going to be going around this part of the torts. And the purpose is just to show you the colors, because like I said, I will not be able to finish all this painting, and I usually do not finish my paintings while I'm live streaming, because it takes a lot of work to complete these paintings, as well as a lot of design as well. So, and this was a picture that I took last year. I had family over and we were making tortillas. They always want the homemade tortillas. I can't blame them because they are delicious. And speaking of delicious, I'm offering on my website, marriedtoarts.com, at the bottom of the screen, a free recipe, my mama's tortilla recipe. Oh my gosh, delicious. And the tortillas are so light that they just come floating right out of the sky. So visit my website, marriedtoart.com, and grab that recipe. It is free. Then I'm going to go down here along the edges, because this picture was taken on my countertop, and it has like a gray countertop. Almost looks marbly like, but it's not marble. It's laminated, I think is what it's called. I don't know what it is, but it is not that expensive stuff. So I'm going to go along here and grab these torts, outline them. Come down here along the edges. And then along the side here, just a little bit, just to show you that it is wrapping around. All right, good enough? Almost. Let me get this little bit in here, right here. I should get a little bit closer so you can see, because I can't bring the camera closer to you, but I can bring this product to the camera. This painting. I hope you're able to get out in this weather. I know it's a little hot, but you can go camping. You can go to the drive-in. I plan to go to the drive-in really, really soon. Make sure you take your own speaker, because that's what they recommend. And it's a fun place to go. I used to take my family to the drive-ins all the time when we were younger. No, we didn't sneak in. We did pay. All right, so you get the idea that the gray is there, all the gray. And look how it made the rolling pin and the torts just pop out, just by adding that color in there. And then I will finish it up. I'll go through, like I said, some of the details a little bit later, off camera, when you're not watching. All right, now I'm going to put torts back up here very carefully so it doesn't fall off. And I'm careful what I touch, because I don't want the paint all over my hands. And I see I've already gotten it on my shirt, but that's the idea of painting. You get it everywhere. You can't help it. All right. The next thing I want to do is take the rolling pin, and that is this color. It's a yellow ochre, and I added probably a little bit of red to it. And I'm just going to take this, I'm going to go around here, the corner. I rest my brush right up here at the top, and all I'm doing is going over my underpainting. So I know this is the absolutely right shape. And you just don't want to go over, to dirty your painting. And when I say dirty, that means going over the same stuff over and over again. Just make the mark, folks, get the paint on there. That's the most important part. Not worrying if it's straight, if it's right, any of that stuff. And then I want to take some of that and go along the side. So I'm going to step in front of you for 1 second, come along the side. I do have lines that are already in there, so I know where they're going to end. I'm still working on Mexican, what is it? I have done so many Mexicans. It's Mexican skull. Sorry about that, getting old. And Mexican skull, I have some, on the first copy, which was in acrylics, I put some fake teeth on it, and I just love the teeth. The teeth really give it some flavor. Then I'm going to come up here and do this. I'm just going to do it, outline it. I'm not too careful other than holding the picture, because it's okay if some of that acrylic shows through. Then I'm going to take the deep brown, which is my shadow, and the opposite of yellow is blue, so I'm going to do a little bit of red and brown and black for that shadow. And I'm just taking my brush and I'm going to flatten it out more to make sure I have a nice edge to it, and come along, rest my brush right here at the top, go along the edge and just push that paint in there just like that. So easy. Taking a little bit more of red, brown, tiny bit of black, going through it one more time. I don't want to overdo this. Maybe going back up. All right, now I have my shadow in my picture. And that shadow has a lighter shadow to it, so I'm going to put that in too. And I'm going to use a little bit of a greenish color. And just very gently push that shadow in right here. Taking my brush, pushing down some of that paint, and I'm going to try to grab it a little bit better position. Now this shadow here, the second shadow, is fuzzy. Out of focus, I say. And then I love taking a dry brush, and a dry brush is really what you need to get those edges, everything blended well together, and that gives me a nice, beautiful edge along here. And wiping it off, because you don't want to go back over that with color. You want a dry brush. One more time. Cleaning my brush and then going again. And there we got my shadow. The shadow that I love in this picture. Now we're going to the Torts. And I like using a little round brush. If I have round subjects, then I like round brushes. If I have square, I like flat brushes. It's just me. There's really no preference. And so I'm going to go with the darkest area of the tortilla, which is a burnt sienna. So let me see where I put that color. Actually, I'm going to do a little bit of black and a little bit of burnt sienna. And this is where I said my darkest shadow is. And you use that as a reference. So then when things are around it, you say, well, what is that compared to my darkest area? Now, I probably should have used a flat brush for that, but that's okay. I'll fix it in post-painting. And then this area here is pretty dark as well. So I'm just going to put a little dark area right in there. I can see the indentation. Remember, the contours are really, really dark. And then think of how you would paint a ball. The outside edges are going to be dark, and then as you get in the middle, it's going to be lighter, and then the lightest is going to be in the very center, unless there's an indentation in there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with my darkest, and this is my darkest color here. Whoops, that's not the color I want. Sorry. I could tell because when it went on, it didn't go on like butter. It stood out. The color was way too dark. And I realized that the minute I put it on. So I'm going to go with this, this darker medium brown right here. Oh yes, that blends in perfectly. I'm looking at my picture. I see this is an indentation right here. So it's going to be darker. Then it's going to go around here. And then there's some more of this color that goes down. I'm pushing it in towards the outside to give it some slant, to give it the feel of a plane. Then I'll go over this little mistake I made earlier. Of course, there's no such thing as mistakes. I'll just include that in there. It adds some nice texture to that tort. And then I'm going to go over to this one because that's the same thing. So as I see from my underpainting and I see from my picture, that's pretty dark around there. So I'm going to go in this direction here, going out with my brush, taking it and pushing that paint out and down. And then here, this is the indentation, so I'm going to just do this. And then some of that color is over here, so I'm going to put that color in there. Right over my acrylics, looking at all how the torts are shaped. They're shaped as the circle is kind of going in towards the center, so that's the way I'm using my brush. And then that color is right in here, and I can see that kind of is a flat area. It's a plane, so I'm going to make that flat. Then grab more of that same color. I keep wanting to go to a darker color. And go in here, and that goes down this direction. Another plane that goes down. Then this goes in towards the center. And I'm on this one right here, yes, and that goes flat in towards the center, and then it goes down this direction. Then going with some more of that same paint, and that color is here, and it circles around this way. So I'm going to make circular motions to give the feel of a tort, which is circular. Come to this side, and that color is right in here. Let's see, right there. There's an indentation, it goes like this. So I'm going to put that in, and see, what color did I miss? I already did that one. And I want to do this. This comes like here, and it circles around here. It's a little bit of a shaded area. And so remember, light, medium, and dark. Dark, medium, and light, sorry. Go back in with the same color. And this starts to fade out. So I'm going to add a little bit of white to it because it's fading out. It's a tortilla. And it's going this direction here, so I'm going to push it out and then push it in towards the center. Add a little more light color to it, bringing that in. Same thing down here, that's that same color. And that comes around this here, comes around here, and then it comes in this direction, and then it swerves around that way. And so I'm pushing this in to make a plane. That curves around there. I grabbed a little bit of that dark, but that's okay, perfect. All right, now we're gonna go into some of the lighter areas. This area is fairly light. And this is actually white. I'm going to go over it again. I'm going to put my white on top because I can. More lighter colors down here. Starts to fade out. you get the feeling of the twirls and circles I'm making coming in, giving that some definition. I'm going to add a little bit more lighter colors in here, because now it's starting to form the circle. And then there's that color there. Then I got some white in the center. That comes in here. And so the tort is starting to form and take the shape. And let me go with this lighter color again. I'm so glad, I'm so happy when I don't have to use so many brushes. Now that's a little darker. It tells me that when I put that color on, that it didn't look right. Making my circular movements because that's the shape of the tort. That comes down, looking at my image, and it comes down that direction. And then this color is right in there, so I'm going to go really light with that because I can, and I know I need to. And the thing with underpainting is you don't have to cover up the entire underpainting. You want some of that beautiful colors to show through. And that's why you're doing the underpainting. And this one here, it's really light. It just kind of blends out. So you don't have to do too much work for that. You just know there's another tort and it's going to extend out this direction and it's going to go under there, and I'll get that in my post-production, my post-painting. All right, the next thing I want to do is add a little bit of some edges, and you need almost a liquid color for that. So you got to get a really skinny brush, liner brush they're called, and you get it nice and oiled up. And I'm going to use, I was going to use a darker color, but I like this kind of a greenish color. It gives it a feel. And now I'm just going to take it and I'm going to outline my torts. I'm jiggling my brush. Now this is going to be covered with that gray. I'll go in with detail, do that when I do my detail. And then there's some of that around here, that same color. And then these edges are just wiggling the brush, getting those edges in there, making the brush work for you instead of you working for the brush. And then I'm going to go a little bit lighter at the top because I want some of that highlight in there. Then that has a right in here, and I missed it earlier. I'm going to add some of that color down here because I have some brown in there. It has a indentation right in here. Since I have that color, I'm just going to put that in. And then it has all those little lines that are going throughout the tort. If you can see the tort real closely, you see it has all those indentations and those skinny little lines, and I will put those in. But I'll put that in post-production because I do want to go through and use my dry brush and correct my little mistakes. I don't call them mistakes. I just blend it in to correct those things that need to be corrected, to blend all those colors together so it looks like one piece and it doesn't look like it's all separate entities. So that's pretty much torts. I'm looking at my picture on my monitor, and I think it looks pretty doggone good. I'm very, very happy with it. And like I said, in post-painting, I will get all those colors out, and then I am going to add some of those highlights in a little bit later because I don't want to put white on top of a color that's already there until it starts to dry some, because it'll just get sucked right into it, you know, and it won't show up as well. But I do think I want to add some of that there's some like dark colors coming in through my countertop. So I'm just going to take a brush, and then I have something that kind of goes like here, and then it comes up here. There's a part there, and it kind of comes down following that. And then there's going to be flour that's going to be sprinkled on top of this. And I want to give this a harder edge, so I'm just going to take that color, go along there, throw it in there, and then add some of these little lines up here. Those will be blended as well. This is just part that Hispanic talk is coming out of me. This is part of the rolling pin. So this is Torts, and I've had so much fun working with you, my friends, and I hope that you've enjoyed this free session as well. Remember, I have 50 of those. I'm looking for my tissue, and I must have dropped it out over here because I start sweating a little bit. This is clean, believe me. Just a couple of reminders. I want to remind you again, when you start doing your artwork, get your stuff together. I mean, don't wait till the last minute. If you got deadlines, especially somebody wants to buy your art, you need to be prompt on time. You know, it takes forever for oils to dry, and then I put a glaze over the top. That's even more. This is just a binder that I'm showing you of things that I keep. I'm going to put it a little bit higher because I can see that you can't really see it. It's usually better together. This is a picture of a Mexican woman. I am looking for Mexican pictures, folks. Get those out, bring them to me, send them to me so I can paint them. Couple of reminders in closing is on Tuesday, July 23rd, we're painting the St. Louis Arch. I used to work for the Arch a long, long time ago. It's a beautiful picture that I took several weeks ago. I love this picture, and we'll be painting that. It's got a nice shadow in there. And then on June 25th, I'm doing Colorado Spring, another picture I took while I was in Colorado. Gorgeous picture. It reminds me of a Bob Ross painting. And research your topic, brainstorm your ideas, put them in a book. Remember what Betty Davis, who was a funk musician in the 70s, she said, being different is a way to move forward. Marvelous. A way for you to move forward, being different. So when you're doing different things and they seem strange to others, don't worry about it. Just continue fulfilling your art passion. Or whether that's sewing, or whether it's creating art, or whether it's getting ready to get into the Olympics. I don't know what it is that your passion is, but stick with it. God gives you those talents. Our God from above, He gives us every one of those talents and those skills, and He wants you to use them for His benefit and to give Him credit. Just like I do at the end of my painting. I sign my painting. It's S, D, G, Sali, Deo, Gloria. To God be the glory for my art. Reminder, you can download that tort recipe on my website. Just go into marriedart.com. It's on the bottom of the screen. And it's free. And it's my mama's. So when you make those torts and people start asking you, where did you get the recipe? Please send them to my website, because I really want to show you all the different arts that I have created throughout the years. And I live stream every Tuesday and Thursday to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. I always forget that one. Download a copy of the picture I'm painting on my website and keep this video, and it will be on my website eventually attached to the torts picture when I'm finished painting it. And then you can paint your own torts and add your own ideas to it and add your own different parts of, maybe you want to make blue torts or pink torts or whatever color you desire. It's your painting. You do with it what you want. And don't believe the lies that the devil tells you that you can't be successful, because I want to share with you that you can. You can be successful, and please, please don't give in to those lies that you can't, because you certainly can. And before I turn on my music to do my dance, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for always being a friend of mine on the Bliss of Art, because I love doing this show. I've been doing it for a while. I'm trying to get into my photos, and it just doesn't want to do that. I really want you music, so get out of here. Go away. Okay, let me try it again. Go away. I am going to do it. It might take a minute, but that's okay. You don't mind, because you want to dance along with me, right? Oh, I found it. It's not going away. My Mexican music is there. And you know that I love dancing. Be generous to those around you. Call your family. Tell them you love them. And look for all those different patterns in your artwork. And paint, paint, paint. Every single day. Yahoo! Adios, amigos and amigas. And thank you so much for joining me.